Scaling questions in motivational interviewing. Hi, I'm Hillary Bolter. I'm an MI trainer, a member of the Mint, and I help cultivate effective helping professionals. So through motivational interviewing, that's what I train in. So we're going to talk about scaling questions in motivational interviewing here for a short bit. A lot of people associate motivational interviewing with scaling questions. They're like, oh yeah, I use scaling questions. I use MI. That's what I do. Scaling questions are only one tiny piece of motivational interviewing, and they are a great kind of put it in your pocket takeaway skill that can be integrated with whatever else you do. So it's a little MI skill you can take with you. And again, it's just a part of one little piece of a much bigger picture, which makes up motivational interviewing. So scaling questions are typically used in motivational interviewing to assess and cultivate motivation for change. So let's think about it. In order for someone to want to make a change, then that change needs to be both important to them, important enough to them to make, and they also need to feel some sense of confidence in their ability to make that change in order to take that leap into making a change, right? I don't typically decide I'm going to make changes in things I have no confidence in. Like that's kind of reckless and impulsive, maybe sometimes. So importance and confidence are two areas that we can use scaling questions. And so this is how we use them in MI. We ask, how important is this change, fill in the blank, on a scale of 1 to 10, or even 0 to 10 to you, with 0 being the lowest, not important at all, and 10 being the most important thing. So where are you on the scale of how important this change is? And then the client answers. And whatever their answer is, we ask this follow-up question, which is, why did you pick a 5? Whatever they just said, and not a lower number? And so we may pick a number a couple digits down. For example, if they said 5, I might say, what made you pick a 5 and not a 3 or a 2? What an interesting question, huh? Typically we think, well, aren't you a higher number? But let's think about what that gets. If we ask, why aren't you a higher number? Then they're going to start telling us why that change is not important to them, which actually kind of reiterates their stuckness right now. You know, even though our brains do go to that negative bias of like, well, why not? What MI does is it flips the conversation to try to help get that client to argue for change. So then we say, why are you a 5 and not a lower number? And the answer we're going to get is their change talk. It's their motivation for change. What makes that change as important as it is to them? And then we want to provide our reflections on what they say. You know, oh, you really reflect that importance of change to them. Then we may ask a follow-up question. What might it take for you to move up a couple notches from a 5 to a 7? And then we're going to get some information from them about what is going to be needed for that, which could also possibly turn into some planning. So that's the important scaling question. The other scaling question that we use often in motivational interviewing is the confidence scaling question. So same question, but replacing it with the word confidence. How confident are you in your ability to make a change on a scale of 0 to 10? It's likely to be different number than the importance. Importance and confidence often have different numbers. So they say, maybe they're a 3. Why are you a 3 and not a 0? Then we're hearing the client argue for what gives them some confidence in their ability. And we want to reflect that so the client hears themselves speak to their confidence in change. This is a great opportunity, especially when people are low in confidence, to explore past successes or past things that they've tackled that have been hard for them and how they've gotten through that. Because again, for someone to make a change, it needs to be both important to them and they need to feel some confidence in their ability. So it is important for folks that are low in confidence for us to help them cultivate confidence and ability to change. And then our follow-up question might be, and what might it take for you to move up a couple notches, like from a 3 to a 5 or a 6? And then the client is giving us some ideas, some of their ideas as what it's going to take for them to increase confidence. Maybe they might share that they're going to need some support, or they want an additional resource, or they, something. So it gets them in that kind of problem-solving, thought-provoking question there. All right, so that's a brief overview of scaling questions in motivational interviewing, how we use them to assess importance and confidence, why we use them to build and cultivate importance and confidence towards change, and the importance in asking the questions in that way of why this and not a lower number. Reflect. What might it take for you to move up to a higher number? Reflect. All right. Good luck with the scaling questions. Let me know how it goes.